I genuinely needed some time after that game in order to try and get myself to some level of calm to record this video. I I just fail to believe what has happened in that game. I really do. Over all the bad decisions and controversy over the years surrounding Liverpool or any other team, I just really fail to believe what's happened in that game. Go throughout that entire game, and that referee, Michael Oliver, gets so much wrong. It is so clear, especially throughout that first half, that every decision is being made via the crowd. Any time whatsoever there's a bit of crowd pressure, he gives the decision in Everton's favour. It was so clear from that game that Oliver was told by people at the Premier League and PGMOL to keep this title race interesting. We can't have Liverpool going 9 points clear. We can't have that, because then viewer numbers and everything else would go down from here to the end of the season. We can't have that. We can't have that, purely for less money as well, isn't it? What an absolute disgrace. And that's putting it mildly. That's really putting it mildly. I mean, let's just go through a little bit of it. The first goal, the foul, granted, Liverpool defended very badly. I must say it must have been something from the training ground in regards to Everton, the set piece. But there is literally a non-existent foul. The Everton player, was it Ndai, was not even touched. Then Liverpool get back into the game. A ton of 50-50s don't go in our favour, as I think we knew from the start with Michael Oliver this was going to happen. He set the tone early on. And then the second half. Anyway, to be fair, Everton were probably the better team. They were the better team for the first 20 odd minutes, I would say, for the second half. And then we scored. Then Salah scores, and after that, Liverpool were comfortable. Liverpool were very comfortable afterwards. And it got to stoppage time. And it looked like, at this stage, the game is finished. We've seen out the game. And then two Everton players clash with 94 minutes gone. 5 minutes added on. A minute later, they get back up. So there's a minute left in the game. So realistically, it should be getting blown up at 96 and a half minutes, or less than that, 96 minutes even. I was screaming at the TV. I was screaming, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. I just can't believe what has gone on there. I just really just can't believe what has gone on there. People can talk about, oh, it's the referee's fault. It's always the referee's fault. And, oh, you're always the victims and stupid crap that people tell you when you're Liverpool fans. But that was so utterly I can't even speak. That was so utterly disgraceful. So utterly disgraceful. From a minute stoppage in stoppage time, he's got over, about 2.5 minutes extra time. Of course they score. Of course they score. I mean, I'm sure Liverpool players, like everybody else, thought the game was over. I don't believe it, because a 9-point lead was right there. And with a 7-point lead, I still absolutely believe we'll win the league, but we have not lost that tonight. We've not lost those 2 extra points tonight because of ourselves. We have not. We have not. And I'm just in disbelief. I'm just in disbelief with how bad. And look, if you haven't watched the game, please do. And just don't watch 2 or 3 minutes highlights. Watch the entire game through. Please. I implore you to do so. And see how much he got wrong in terms of Liverpool in that game. See how biased he was towards the home side in that game. But then we got to stoppage time. I'm thinking, we're there. Thanks to the king, Mohamed Salah. And he still finds a way to screw it all up. I just don't believe it. I just really don't believe it. And if you were watching my live stream, I think you could see that in what I was saying and how I was acting. Anyway, let's get into Liverpool player ratings from today's game. First up, the goalkeeper, Alisson Becker. Could he have done better with the goal? Look, I think it's a good finish from Beto, to be real. I think it's a good finish. I don't think Alisson could have done much better in that situation. In the second half, granted, Everton, I think, upped the pressure, but he had very, very little to do. I thought his distribution was largely good. There was moments, there was danger and crosses into the box, etc., etc. And I thought he dealt with that well. Any sort of danger that came into the box in the second half that he had to deal with, he dealt with well. Alisson, I'm going to say 7. Conor Bradley, a tough night. I absolutely love Conor Bradley, but tonight was a tough night for him. I love how he always gets stuck in. I love how he is such a... I love how much he loves a tackle. I love... how he plays with his heart in his sleeve completely. But tonight, I don't know, did he let the Everton crowd, the Goodison faithful, get kind of underneath his skin? But he wasn't as good as he usually is. And especially in big games, I think we usually see the best of Conor Bradley, but we didn't really see that tonight. Obviously got a yellow card. In the second half, he made a foul. That, again, I think Oliver, it was never, ever a foul. Yes, Everton fans were baying for a second yellow. Obviously, he gave the foul because it's Michael Oliver, fair play. But defensively not great today. Didn't have much of an effect on the game going forward either. Bradley, I'll say 5. Ibu Kanase, I thought in the first half, not so good. A little bit shaky. I thought he was struggling a little bit with the pressure that Everton were asserting on Liverpool's defence. Centrally with Beto, I don't think he was getting the better of him. But after, I think, about a half an hour or so, especially second half, I thought he was solid. I thought he was good. I thought he was good in the air. A couple of times had kind of difficult situations to deal with. A couple of times headed out with some danger. And yeah, he certainly imposed himself more in the second half. I'll say 6. Virgil van Dijk, like Ibu, I thought his first half wasn't the best, but I don't think he ever looked overly worried. I don't think he ever looked overly stretched. Second half, like Ibu, I thought he was better. Some huge clearances, some huge headers in the second half to get rid of the danger. Some really good defensive moments. And look, I don't think as a whole our defence for the first half, especially the first 20 or 30 minutes, was good. And Everton probably looked the more dangerous, certainly for the first half an hour anyway. But I thought between a second half performance and, obviously some very big moments with Everton going forward and Van Dijk being the main reason that nothing really came of them, I'll give him a 6. Andy Robertson, not good. I can't really remember much good he did tonight. A bit like Bradley, he didn't have much of an effect on the game going forward, but defensively struggled up against Lindstrom, was it? Got booked, which I thought was a bit of a harsh booking, but it was a stupid tackle to make. Gave the ball away on a few different occasions, and just overall not a great performance. It's a pity because his last few performances have been better, but tonight was not good. I'm going to say 4. On to the midfield, Ryan Gravenberch, it is fair to say a rare off night for the Dutchman. He didn't influence tonight's game like he usually does. Obviously you would be looking at Gravenberch tonight to kind of impose calm, holding the ball, plus, advancing Liverpool up the pitch in transition. It didn't really happen tonight. There wasn't much influence there, and he did end up getting subbed with about half an hour left. I thought it was an injury or something because I still wouldn't have taken Gravenberch off. But to be fair, Slot was right because he wasn't having it his own way at all, even in the second half when he tried a couple of different things. He really just wasn't quite there tonight, but he's been unbelievable all season. I'm sure he will be in the next game as well. Gravenberch, I'll say 5. Alexis McAllister, I think absolutely 110%. Easily our best midfielder tonight. Beautiful, beautiful header for the goal. I mean, he really just had to arch that with his head into the corner. He was calm. He was creative. He was at the heart of everything Liverpool did well going forward. I think without him on that pitch tonight, Liverpool would have lost that game. And that's just not the goal. It's more so what he did even in open play, be it winning the ball back, be it setting up attacks. You know, I thought he was superb. He's a fantastic footballer, and tonight he really shown his worth, as he always does, to this Liverpool team. Maka, I'm going to say 8. Dominic Szoboszlai, a little bit like Gravenberg in the first half, was kind of struggling to impose himself, but I thought towards the end of the half, he was kind of finding his feet. He was, he had the ball, he brought the ball forward on good attacks for Liverpool a lot more times. He made some nice passes. He obviously had that shot towards the end of the first half that Pickford parried and Diaz couldn't quite turn in. But yeah, second half, I thought he was pretty composed on the ball. I didn't think he did much wrong. So overall, I think it was a solid enough Szoboszlai performance. Nothing great, but nothing bad, really. I'll say 7. Mohamed Salah, the best player on the pitch tonight. It's as simple as that, as he often is. I mean, he was working off scraps tonight, as was all our forwards tonight. He was properly working off scraps. And then the first goal, that lovely bit of quality, cutting in on his left foot to put a beautiful ball onto McAllister's head. And the second half, just being in that perfect position, as he always is, to turn the ball in. And it should have been the winner. It should have been the winner. He had, as I said, I mean, it was a game in where Liverpool had to be patient, not only with chances, but with attacks at times in that game. And whenever Mohamed Salah contributed, it was very, very good, as it always is. And yeah, we should be walking away with 3 points tonight, and another Salah masterclass being his goal being the winner. But unfortunately, Michael Oliver exists. So anyway, Salah, I'm going to say 9. Gakpo, not his best night tonight. He was tenacious, as he always is. He didn't really have a plethora of chances. Again, as like all our forwards, like I mentioned with Salah, he was working off scraps. He cut in a couple of times, had a couple of crosses into the box. I'm not sure who was Everton's right back. His name escapes me at the moment, but I thought defensively he was quite solid. Everton, first half especially, I thought largely were quite solid. But yeah, look, the quality wasn't really there tonight, but the effort, as always, was. I don't think he did anything specifically wrong. It was just a difficult night, especially up against what at times was a very, very, very low block. Gakpo, I'll say 6. Luis Diaz. Now, this would have been a much lower rating after about 60 minutes or so. But when Gakpo went off and Diaz moved to the left, I thought he was very influential. I don't think we can play Diaz through the middle anymore, because he's just not going to make that difference. Especially against teams who set up like Everton do. You know, we even seen it against Forest, where Diaz was, or even against Plymouth just last weekend, where Diaz was non-existent up against a team that, you know, was compact and basically parks a bus. But yeah, obviously he put the ball in for the second goal, which was an excellent cross, which went a long way to creating the chance for Salah to put us back in front. And yeah, he certainly caused problems when he was back on his preferred left side. And look, who knows? Diaz is probably not happy himself having to play through the middle, but you know, we'll see what transpires down the road. Diaz, for the last half an hour or so alone, I'll say 6. On to the subs. Trent Alexander-Arnold. He did a good job tonight filling in for Bradley, or coming on for Bradley, I should say, in the last 30-odd minutes. He did a better job than Bradley tonight. I thought defensively he was pretty solid. He had some lovely passes forward. One pass that was very unlucky not to find Nunez at 2-1. But look, No, good performance from Trent. Going forward, he was involved in that short space of time, and defensively, he did his job. I'm going to say 7.5 out of 10. Curtis Jones, another player who came on and I felt made a difference. Again, Arne Slot's subs come to the fore. But yeah, I mean, obviously he had that great awareness for the second goal. He was well involved from coming on. And he certainly made a difference to the game. In a game where our midfield was nowhere near as fluent as it usually is, Jones was a good addition and was a very good sub from Arne Slot. I'm going to say Jones gets a 7. And by the way, fair play to Jones for getting stuck in afterwards. Take no crap from these small little Everton players celebrating their draw like a Champions League win. Embarrassing. Kostas Tsimikas came in, did a job. Don't really feel he did anything wrong. I feel he did a better job than Robertson in the short amount of time that he was in that position. Solid. I'll say 6. Darwin Núñez came on and mixed things up, had a hand in the second goal, and I felt he was decent. You know, I felt it was a sub that we were crying out for, really, just to kind of open spaces up a little bit up front, as Núñez seems to do. And yeah, he didn't really have a good chance for himself, but I felt, again, like Jones, he made a difference coming on. I'll say 7. And finally, Diogo Jota, couple of moments, obviously he only played a few minutes, but a couple of moments where he could have done better late on in the game. Obviously, the game should have been pretty much nearly over at this point. This was, just after the two Everton players clashed heads and Jota came into the box. I think he should have looked out for Núñez on his left, who was in a better position. But look, he caused problems. He did pretty well for the time that he was on. 6. So that is my Liverpool player ratings for tonight's 2-2 draw with Everton at Goodison Park. As you can see, I'm not very happy. I just feel really, really, really crappy after that. I'm not going to lie. Look, I still believe, absolutely, I mean, 7 points is still 3 games, that we will win this league. But what has went on tonight has really, really annoyed me. And I really, really hope not to see Michael Oliver reffing a game from here to the end of the season and beyond, is all I would say. Onwards and upwards, Rob tonight. But look, we'll put it past us. We'll focus on the next one. If you got this far in the video, please give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Up the Reds.